What's up, nerds? I'm McKinley, and today I am bringing you my January wrap-up. I know I said I wasn't going to do wrap-ups anymore, but I'm a big fat liar. Somebody said they really liked wrap-ups, so, you know, I have like 5 or 6 engaged readers. I gotta keep them happy. Engaged readers, engaged subscribers, and I need to keep them happy, you know what I'm saying? I have actually organized this wrap-up from my least favorite book of the month to my most favorite book of the month, and I won't have to check with Goodreads for what my rating was, you know? How exciting is that? Some of these I might not have a lot to say about. Some of these I might have more to say about. But as always, you can check out my Goodreads down below. And for most books, I do write at least something as a review. So that's linked down below, as well as my Instagram. Please follow me on there. Thank you. Anyway, my least favorite book of the month was Jerkbait by Mia Siegert. This book was on my 12 books to read for 2018, and I read it. It's finished. I did it. I hated this book. I wish I had had a physical copy of this book to drop kick across the room when I finished it and then throw it out the window. That's how much I hated it. And it's like it's about twin boys, and one who tried to kill himself, and then the other one, you know, is basically put in charge by his parents to make sure he doesn't kill himself, which is honestly just the most ridiculous thing I've ever heard. And then on top of that, the parents refused to tell a professional that he tried to kill himself because they want him to play hockey. And then they blame the brother when the kid tries again, and the parents are just horrific people. And then Ryan's best friend is just it's awful. And just when you think that it couldn't be more ridiculous, something even more ridiculous happens to wrap up the book. And guys, it sucks. It really sucks. Just don't read it. I gave that 1 star. I hated it. Hated it. My only 2-star book was Long May She Reign by Rhiannon Thomas. This actually started really good for me, and then it just became full of tropes, but it's about Freya. She's like 23rd in line for the crown, and someone poisons the other 22 people ahead of her, so she ends up being queen. She's actually a very intelligent young woman. She's very into science and experiments, and I love that. And she's got a great female friendship with her best friend Naomi, which I loved. But the minute they introduced the love interest, I was like, oh, he's gonna be the love interest, and what do you know? He was. And it was just unpredictable. I mean, not unpredictable. It was very predictable, and I was just over it by the end. So yeah, that was kind of a letdown, but at least there's only 1 book, so I don't have to feel like I need to read a second book, you know. But yeah, 2 stars for this one. My first 3-star book was A Little Princess by Frances Hodgson Burnett. This is about a young lady who is sent away to a boarding school by her dad because of some kind of illness that's in India, and her father ends up dying, and so she's now the headmaster of the boarding school treats her like a slave. And I realized about halfway through this book that I've seen this movie starring Shirley Temple, and I was like, gosh, this sounds familiar. Oh, because you've seen the movie, McKinley. That's why it sounds familiar. But it wasn't bad. It was like, okay. I enjoyed it for the most part. I like Secret Garden better, but I mean, it's not a bad book. It's just the headmaster is very Umbridge-y, but worse. Because this lady, like, knows she's a straight up bitch. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, 3 stars. My other 3-star read was About a Dog by Jen McKinley, and I ended up reading this for Winter Vibe, but I also read it because the author has my name, and that's Pop Sugar Challenge. This is about a woman who comes back to her hometown to be maid of honor for her best friend's wedding, and she gets thrown together with a guy she slept with one time who also happens to be the bride's brother, and you can pretty much guess what happens. But they find a dog, or she finds a dog. He's a vet. She finds a dog, and the dog helps bring them closer. And what's really important is the dog in the story, because the dog is perfect and adorable, and her name's Tulip, and she's just really cute, and she's the same mix as my dog, and I love Tulip with all of my heart. So yeah, Tulip gets 5 stars. This book gets 3, but it was not unenjoyable. I enjoyed it more than I thought I was going to be honest. But yeah, look at the dog. The dog is adorable and perfect, and I love her. This is my first 3.5-star read, and that's The Serpent King by Jeff Zentner. This is another one I read because he is coming to that same event in March, and I had gotten this off Book Outlet, so I decided to, you know, so I could get him to sign it. Anyway, every review I've ever seen of this basically made me know what was going to happen in this book. So I knew. I literally predicted it within the first chapter what was going to happen, and I was right. So don't read reviews of this. Don't listen to me. Just, if the premise sounds interesting to you, go forth and read it. But it's about a boy named Dill whose dad is in jail, who was also a pastor of a, like, oh, what is it called? Pentecostal church, and he, like, did some really fucked up shit, I'm not gonna lie, and he had child porn on his computer, and basically, and Dill's dad and mother blame him for not taking the blame for the child porn. So they blame him for the dad going to jail. Like, maybe just don't look at child porn and have it on your computer, and then you won't go to jail for it. Like, no need to blame your son. It's also about Travis, who is a boy who loves to read, and he's really obsessed with this one series. I think we can all relate to that. But he's got an abusive father. And then there's Lydia, who's a very popular fashion blogger, and I like her a lot. I love that she's like super feminist and liberal in such a you know, small southern town where it's not great to be that. But like, Dill got on my nerves. I thought he was really selfish about his friendship with Lydia, but Travis is like a cinnamon roll, and it's just about their friendship in their senior year. And yeah, read the description on Goodreads. I know I just did a horrible job of summing it up, but I really don't want to ruin it for anyone else, because I literally saw a few reviews and I predicted what was going to happen. This isn't my first rodeo, okay? My next 3.5-star read is Lucky in Love by Casey West. This was actually my first read of the year. This is about a girl who wins the lottery, like on her 18th birthday or right after her 18th birthday. And the boy that she likes, that she works with, but she's so dumb. Like, it's a really cute contemporary a la Casey West, but she does like the stupidest shit with her money, and it's very frustrating to read about. But I think if you like Casey West, you'll probably like this. But just know, you're gonna be like, girl, what are you doing with your money? Calm your tits. My next 3.5-star read is Solitaire by Alice Oseman. I buddy read this with Kaz from Cats and Camera, who I literally mention in every video, but I'll link her down below. And this is about like a group of friends in their last year in high school, and it covers depression, anxiety, eating disorders. It's just kind of a weird book, but there's a mystery in who Solitaire is. Solitaire starts taking over the school and doing harmless pranks, but then they turn into not so harmless pranks. And the ending was a little bit silly, in my opinion. Probably would have been 4 stars if it wasn't for that ending, but yeah. It's a really odd book, but if the mystery aspect, I guess, but a lot of people don't like the main character because she's very mopey, and misanthropic, but so am I. So I liked her, but yeah. On to my 4-star reads. The first one is Fresh Ink by various people. This is an anthology of all diverse short stories, and I have a very thorough review on my Goodreads, so I will link that review specifically down below, because I go into details about all the stories in that. And yeah, go check it out. My next 4-star read is Amina's Voice by Henna Khan. I probably said that wrong. Again, I apologize. This is about a girl who just started in middle school. She's Muslim and her best friend is Korean. Her best friend wants to change her name, and she's about to become an American citizen. She wants to have a more American name, and that's frustrating her. And also Sujin, her best friend, starts to become friends with this other girl, Emily, who picked on Amina and Sujin when they were in like the beginning of elementary school. And so she's frustrated with that. And then her uncle comes to town from Pakistan, and he's more strict with his religion than her family is. It's just like a coming of age story and her finding her voice because she likes to sing but she's too scared to do it in public. It's a really cute story. I got a little frustrated with Amina getting like so mean with Emily, but then I remembered she's 12 and that happens. So yeah, it's a cute middle grade. Not the best middle grade I've ever read, but definitely worth reading, especially like if you're a teacher and you have a young Muslim girl that you need to recommend a book to. Here you go. Next 4-star read was Scythe by Neil Shusterman. This book has been going around lately because the sequel just came out, and Neil Shusterman was doing a signing at my local Barnes & Noble, which literally never happened. So I was like, screw it, I'm gonna read his book. This is about a future where we've conquered death, and the only way you could die is if a Scythe picks you. And we follow Citra and Rowan on their apprenticeship with Scythe Heraday. Am I saying? Yeah. And there's like a shady ass Scythe who you will hate on umbrage levels. Let me just tell you. I did, at least. And it's honestly, I haven't read a dystopian in so long, although I guess this is a utopian. But I liked this book so much. It's like intense, but I liked it a lot, and I highly, highly recommend it. My next 4-star read, yes, is America Volume 1 by Gabby Rivera. I actually read just issues 4, 5, and 6 because I had already read 1, 2, and 3 last year, but this just follows America, who's a lesbian Latina superhero, and I think you could start the series not having read any other Marvel comics, although I do recommend Young Avengers, where I first met America. But yeah, 4 stars. It's good. I enjoy it. Next 4-star read is Nice Try, Jane Sinner by Leanne Olke, I think. And I actually did a full review for this on my channel. Please go check it out. It's only got 9 views. Nobody watches book reviews anymore. But this is like Daria in the show Community, if Community was a reality show. And it's really good, and I enjoyed it. My next 4-star read is Kat and Meg Conquer the World by Anna Premaza. And this is about 2 girls who are thrown together in a scientific for their science fair in their science class. One of them, Meg, is ADHD and she's also black, and Kat has really bad anxiety, and they end up becoming friends over the course of doing the science fair because they both watch this really popular YouTube channel called Lumberlegs, where this guy plays a video game that they like. So it's another fandom book. I really, really loved the friendship in this. I thought it was amazing. They were like so there for each other through everything, and I really, really liked it. I'm so glad I read it. This, if you like fandom books, I read an arc of it, but yeah, I got this from the library so I could hold it up for you guys. I also have a review of this on my Goodreads. My next 4-star book is I've Got This Round by Mamrie Hart. I got an arc of this from NetGalley and the publisher, and it's really funny. If you like Mamrie Hart and you read her first book, you will probably like this one. I especially liked the chapter where she went on the Backstreet Boy cruise, because it basically solidified my decision to never go on a Backstreet Boy cruise because anxiety inducing. Let's just say that. But she basically travels a lot in this book, and she ends a 10-year-long relationship, which I watch her videos and had no idea that she was in a relationship because she always hid that from her followers. But yeah, it's like deals with heartbreak and then, you know, her typical comedy and debauchery. I really thought it was funny. I laughed a lot. I didn't like it quite as much as her first book, but it was definitely really enjoyable. And if you like Mamrie, you're gonna like the book. My final 5-star read my final 4-star read for the month was Beneath the Sugar Sky by Shauna McGuire. This is the 3rd book in the Wayward Children series. I hope it's a series. I hope this wasn't the last one. But in this one, we go back to the school for wayward children and follow along with some characters we met in the first book. And if you liked that first book, you're gonna like this. If you don't know what this series is about, I don't know what YouTubes you're watching, booktubes you're watching, but because everyone talks about these books, but it's about a alternative universe where there's doors to other lands, and this follows people that got sent back from their other lands. And yeah, it's diverse, it's amazing, I love it. I gave this one 4 stars because there's a fat character in this, and it's just like a lot of talk about her being fat. Like, I don't doubt the way she feels and how she's always thinking about her weight. Like, I get that, but I just feel like it was shoved down our throats. So that's why I docked it a star, but I'd still highly recommend it. My first 5-star read is Kim Reaper, Grim Beginnings. This is a graphic novel about Kim Reaper and this other girl whose name I have forgotten because I read this at the beginning of the month, but she's black. And Kim Reaper is a Grim Reaper. And the other character, she follows her through one of her portals and finds out she's a Reaper, and it's cute little female graphic novel. My next 5-star read was Herding Cats by Sarah Anderson. This is another graphic novel. It collects comics by Sarah. If you are on Facebook, you've seen at least one of her comics, but these are really relatable, especially if you have anxiety and you're an introvert. And I loved it. 5 stars. I've given 5 stars to all of her comic collections, but yeah. My next 5-star read was Far From the Tree by Robin Bedway. I loved this book so much. It follows three teenagers who were given up for adoption, and they find out that they have siblings they never knew. And after the one sibling, Grace, had just given up a child for adoption, and she was wanting to find her biological mother, and her parents tell her about her siblings, and they meet up and they grow close, and it's just so good. The boy Joaquin is Mexican, and the other sister Maya is a lesbian. This just has all the feels in it, and I loved it. I loved it so much, and I didn't think I didn't know how much I was gonna love this going into it, but I loved it. Highly recommend this one. My second to last book, the penultimate book, is another 5-star read, obviously, and that was Puddin by Julie Murphy. This is the companion / sequel to Dumplin'. You do have to read well, I guess you don't have to read Dumplin' first, but you should read Dumplin' first. Yeah, but this follows Millie and Claudia? No, Callie. Millie and Callie. Millie was one of the girls who entered the pageant with Willow Dean and Dumplin', and Callie was the girl Ellen had befriended when her and Willow Dean were fighting in the first book, and it's really fantastic. Millie is a cinnamon roll. She's just a precious cinnamon roll who I love so dearly. She's so like passionate about the things she's and she's so friendly, and she just loves herself even though her mom obsesses over her weight, and I just loved it. Callie has so much character growth and development in this book, and she frustrated me a lot at the beginning, but I really grew to love her by the end. And it's basically Callie learning how to be a friend, and the whole gang from the first book is in this one, and they have this like lovely little girl friendship circle, and there's an ace biromantic character, there's a lesbian character, and I just really hope we get another book from this universe because I loved it so much. And finally, my favorite read of the month was Let's Talk About Love by Claire Kahn. This book is so cute and adorable and happy making. Like, I don't even know how to tell you how happy this book made me. But it follows Alice, who is a biromantic asexual Black woman. Beautiful. I love this cover, by the way. And she's working at a library and she kind of gets a crush on a boy named Takumi, and their friendship evolves and grows, and it just made my demi heart soar with glee, and I can't recommend this book enough. So fantastic. Obviously 5 out of 5 stars. Alright guys, let me know down below what your favorite book you read in January was, and if you read any of these books and what you thought of them. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.